Hey YouTube, I'm just doing a quick video on notary law. So there's quite a few people that on YouTube and other places that talk about knowing your notary laws. And it's very important to know your notary laws, no doubt about it. So I just wanted to share with you some of the resources I use to know the notary laws. I'm not an expert, of course, but I'll give you some insight of what I use. I'm of course here in California, so it's a little different state by state, the resources that are available to you, depending on how organized your state is. So here in California, the first resource that I would use to know your laws is the Secretary of State's handbook for notaries. They come out with that every year. You can get a physical copy directly from the Secretary of State, or you can go to their website and download a PDF version of that document and read it and study it. Okay, and that talks about general things of how to be a notary, the requirements, what types of IDs you can accept, how to do acknowledgement jurats and other different notary acts that are available in your state. In my state, there's what you can do and what you can't do, the requirements and so forth. Okay, another book that you can get from the NNA is the Notary Primer. So this one's from 2020 for California. I am not going to update this every year. I mean, they might come up with a version every year. I don't know. This is the first time I purchased this book, and I think it's good to have a copy of this book if your laws are changing, updated, obviously, if you get an updated version. But that's a good resource to know your state laws, and it might go into more details than the Secretary of State will. This is another book that purchased. It's the U.S. Notary Primer. So this talks about different states and what they can and cannot do, notary acts and so forth, just so that you're familiar with other states. It's not necessary to have, but it's a good thing to have. It's good to know what other states can do and what they can't do. Okay, especially now we're in the remote online notarization realm in many states. Here in California, we're not yet at that point, but it's good to know what other states can do in that regard, because you can be in a situation. I had last year, I think it was last year or the year before, I had a guy, he wanted his birth certificate notarized, not the actual birth certificate, but the what do they call it, the request for the birth certificate, where you have to fill out your information and sign it and notarize it, saying, hey, I need a copy of my birth certificate. Well, the guy was located in Korea. He was a resident of California, but he was in Korea. So obviously I couldn't do that for him because he's in Korea, and here in California, we have to be physically present with the signer. So what happened is I contacted a notary in Florida that was in a group that I'm in, and she was able to accommodate this guy and take care of his request because that was something that they can do in Florida. So that's, I wouldn't have known. I didn't even know that. I was just shooting in the dark to say, hey, can you help this guy out? Because I knew that she did remote online notarizations, but I didn't know all that information, if she could do it or couldn't do it. And she said, absolutely, I can help the guy. And I'm like, great, here's his information. Give him a call and see if you can. Actually, I told him to call her. I just said, I don't know if she can help you, but here's her number. And she was able to, she got back to me and said, yeah, I was able to help that guy out for you. I'm like, perfect. Okay, so that's why it's important to know some other laws around the country, just to know what they can and cannot do. Because, sometimes you get people that I had a lady call me from Idaho. She had a number from an Oakland area code number here in California. She called and find out that she's in Idaho. Well, had I known that Idaho has remote online notarizations, I could have linked her up with another guy up there that I knew, that I met online, and he could have got the work. But what happened? I didn't know that. So that's why it's important to know these kind of things, because if you know, hey, this state does remote online notarizations, for example, you know, and I know somebody, they might not be in the specific area that this person is located in at the moment. I can at least link them up, and they can either help them out remotely, or if they can't, they might know another notary in their state that can help that person out. Okay. So that's where you want to know this. That's a networking thing too. Networking, get to know people in other states. I'm just starting to do that here. I'm coming up on 6 years, and I'm just now networking with enough notaries that I can send people work and use them as a resource. You know, I called up a lady last week and said, hey, I need a witness. Can you come over to my house and be a witness? She had no problem. She's another notary. So it fell through, but I paid her the money. She's like all happy, you know, and I was happy that she was available and was able to come. So, you know, anyway, I'm going off the subject. But anyway, another book I just picked up. I haven't read it yet, but something that you might want to look into: Notary Public Practices and Glossary. So that's another book from the NNA. They have different books from the NNA. Just check it out. You know, this glossary, I haven't read through it. I read a few things through it. It talks about different terms and things that we run across as notaries. Just a resource. Just a resource that you need to have. Getting a phone call again. Anyway, that will be it for this this video. Have a great day.